Joey Chestnut, welcome to the Transition Podcast, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, I mean, thank you. Brian Extrovert, you guys cannot see. He's hiding behind the camera, but it's all because of Brian that you're here. I know that Brian, Gao, and Nate and their team over at Wings for Wishes, when I remember, probably 5 years ago, sitting down at Sports Grill and watching these guys put together down this plan for such an amazing cause to help children with disabilities. And one of our really good friends has a son who has a disability. So I know that, Nate, shout out to you. I know this means the world to you. And I know that you're very involved. And every year he picks up the phone and with the most complete boldness, he's like, I need a check. So, and we love that. So we love anything that has to do with kids and good stuff. We just love to be a part of as a company and personally as well. So I know, Brian, kudos to you, man. I can't believe where you guys have taken this. I remember the first year I went, it was smaller, and before you know it, like 2 years ago, right before COVID, we had 3 blocks. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So anybody, if you're watching this or listening to this, Wings for Wishes tomorrow in South Miami with the Keen Joey Chestnut will be a part of the wing eating contest. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of food, lots of beer, lots of good people and a good time. So Brian, thank you, man. Thank you for making this happen. Actually, when Brian called me, he goes, "You want Joey Chestnut in the podcast?" The name was like, "Fuck, what? Shit, yeah!" Like, yeah, of course I do, right? Like I always have athletes and all these other people, but and I say that respectfully because as I read your Wikipedia, it's funny how you refer to yourself as an athlete.
It took a long time for me. Yeah, it took a long time for me to do that.
And I respect that. And we'll talk about, all that good stuff. But welcome. I know that you are a world-renowned celebrity, and to have you on my podcast is amazing. My podcast is actually, I'll just give you a quick background. It was started after my life with baseball. I had a really tough transition where I didn't know what I was going to do in my life. I kind of had to reinvent myself. So I went through some emotional, we'll call it challenges. But thank God I was able to bounce back and realize that the game of baseball and my athletic career had prepared me for the game of life and for business. So I never really understood how one day it all came to me. I'm like, you know what? I've got on my ass kicked my whole life. Everybody's always told me I'm not good enough, but I've always found a way to grind. So if I apply that, I guess I don't have to reinvent myself. I've already been prepared. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about Joey Chestnut.
Oh.
All right. Where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Vallejo, California.
Okay.
And then moved to San Jose and then I was pretty much all San Jose. I went to college in San Jose and stayed in San Jose, and it's just and so actually just last year I moved to Indiana.
Okay.
I was ready for a little change. Because I travel so much. It's great to be in the middle of the country, and it really helps with the work. And who knows? I might go back to San Jose eventually.
So are you an entrepreneur as well? Like, do you do other things on the side?
I do a couple little things.
Okay.
I have some sauces, condiments. I have a condiment line.
Okay, cool. I figured it'd be tied into the food line.
But yeah, I'm really lucky. The competitive eating actually keeps me really busy. I get to whether it's appearances or actual contests. I'm like pretty booked up all year long. Not in the winter. It calms down, which is great. It's good. It's a good chance for me to get healthy.
Okay.
Because there's no way around it.
Which I want to ask you. I want to talk about that because So I can go through every single world record you have. Oh. We would take up a lot of time, but it's incredible. I mean, you broke a record in 2012, 2013, 14, 15, in 2020. I mean, we read it was 75 hot dogs.
75 hot dogs last year.
It's incredible. So I was doing the math and with Johnny before you got here. We're like 7.5 hot dogs per minute.
Yeah,
it's insane. So I figured that you figured out that you could do this because in college you were probably the guy chugging the most amount of beer. That's what I told Johnny. I'm like, and the reason why I asked that, like, how did How did you figure out that you had this skill set? Because it's a skill set, right? It's like a talent.
It was weird because growing up, I was actually ashamed of it. My mom would get mad at me for eating too much. She was like, "Oh, we got to save some for the other brothers who aren't home yet." And she would get mad at me if I went to town. And I was just always the biggest eater in the family. And my little brother, he was a fan of Kobayashi, the previous champion hot dog contest. And he was like, "Joey, I think you can beat him. And you're the biggest eater I know." And he signed me up to a contest. And I was actually really shy. I was kind of ashamed of the eating, and I was embarrassed of it. But then I didn't go to the first contest. And the second contest, the organizer called him up and said, if I actually go to the contest, I get a free hotel room. And I was 21 at the time.
Yeah, free hotel
I was
room,
like, oh, it was at a casino. That's what sold it for me. A free hotel in a casino. I was 21. I'll do it. And after as soon as I got on stage the first time, I was like, oh my God, I love it.
Were you by any chance into sports at all as a kid?
I was in baseball. Okay. My dad's a music teacher, so I was a band nerd. First chair trumpet.
Awesome.
But
awesome.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different kind of. It's definitely competitive.
No, I trust me. I've watched videos on you. I've seen you on TV. Like I know it's competitive. I mean, the amount of people you bring in. So when you say that your brother figured out, hey, I think you can do this, is it one day, I don't know if you can remember, is it a spontaneous day where you just tried to figure out, because you say you could eat a lot, but there's an argument, maybe I can maybe say, well, I eat a lot too, right?
Like a lot of people say,
or is it that you ate really fast?
I could eat fast. I just didn't, once I started eating, I was like, oh, I want to eat more. I love the whole, I don't feel full as fast as most people, I guess.
Okay.
And it's just
you're built different.
I love it. I can go a day and a half without eating also. So I can stop eating, which allows me to do a cleanse really easily. Make sure I go into every contest pretty empty. I'll eat a little bit today because chicken wings tomorrow is not really a capacity food.
Okay.
But for a big capacity contest, I'm gonna go more than a day without eating any solid food. Really? Yeah. So I just want to make sure that when I suck in my stomach, I was like, all right, there's nothing in my stomach. There's nothing in my pretty much the whole digestive tract, and I can I can visualize 15 pounds of food in there.
Joey, can you take me to like the preparation of of what that looks like? So like when you're gonna be at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, right?
Hot dogs, that's the biggest one of the year by far.
So like, what is that like? Like, what's that routine for you?
So once a week, roughly, I'm doing a hot dog practice. A full-on contest, cooking up the hot dogs, fasting for a day and a half before practice, doing the practice. After the practice, it's recovery mode where it's just high fiber. As soon as even if I'm not hungry, I'm eating lettuce and greens and just trying to get. I mean, I don't want to say it's garbage, but get that food through me. And every time I get the food down, digest it, I know I can do a little bit more the next time. It's building that tolerance.
So it's like no difference in an athlete, right? Like you're preparing, whether we're CrossFitting, whether you're a baseball player, whether you're a basketball player, you have a preparation that you take place. So you actually put yourself in like kind of a game situation, right? Like what it's going to feel like. You've got a timer. I'll play the previous year's contest as background noise, and I win the contest in practice. I know what I'm capable of. Have you ever eaten more hot dogs in the practice than you did in the actual game? Oh yeah, it happens. Well, because practice is sometimes perfect conditions. I know. And it's like, I'm sure practice, when you're hitting the ball, like you're hitting some bombs, and it's just a different environment. But I try to simulate contests as much as I can. But dude, I've had some amazing practices where everything is clicking perfectly, and who knows, maybe one of these days, maybe I'll just smash the record ridiculously. And what do you want? I mean, I think I'm capable of 80 hot dogs. Yeah, it's 5 more, right? Yeah, 5 more. Sounds like very little, but 5 hot dogs, people. Think about that. What's your favorite hot dog? Nathan's Famous. There you go. All beef. Pretty much any all beef hot dog is really good. Really good. It sucks. I remember when I was just getting started, I was kind of poor, so I would buy like the turkey, beef, pork, or it was like the Bar S hot dogs were terrible, and then finally Nathan started sending me hot dogs, and they're like, oh man, I made it. These are delicious. That's amazing. So like, as you do this, obviously you're putting your body through a whole lot of stress.
Oh, yeah.
Would be my imagination, right?
Absolutely.
What I would think. So what do you do when because I'm thinking about your routine.
Like today's lots of liquid. Like you'll see me sweating right now. It's part of it because I was out a little bit last night, but also I drink a lot of liquids. First thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is I'll drink a half gallon of water, and I there's just little things I do. Like I stretch the muscles in my I practice stretching these muscles in my throat and esophagus.
How do you do that?
I count how many gulps it takes to do the half gallon, and if I can do the half gallon in 7 gulps, I'm not doing that good. If I can do it in 5 gulps, 5 big, yeah. I know the muscles are loose and stretched and ready.
I do that myself.
Yeah, but it's just
because I'm like the opposite. I'm like the dad who cuts a steak for the kids, and I'm like, but I will say I almost choked on a piece of steak a couple years ago.
Oh my God,
and it freaked me out. So I'm always like that guy. So like watching you guys, like I told Johnny last year or the year before when we had the winging contest, I was like, it terrified me. Like I hope everybody here knows what they're doing, right? Which leads me to like another question. Like when you're doing that, obviously you're taking a huge risk.
Yeah.
Right? In some way.
There's choking risk.
It's a complicated risk.
I mean, I can't really imagine choking. Like if something gets stuck in my throat, I can work it up or down pretty easily.
This may be a stupid question, but is there like a doctor around on site when you have these types of contests?
There's always an EMT.
Okay.
Yeah, which is funny that my first contest, so the contest at the casino was a lobster eating contest, and they actually had to use the EMT, and I was like, whoa, this is wild. and I've never seen the EMT used again since then.
That's insane. So, and that's the whole physical part of this whole deal is obviously you working on your eating skill set, whether it's you stretching your
stretching esophagus.
Yeah. Do you exercise for this? Is there?
I should exercise more. When I'm healthy, I'm running more. And I
does that help you with the eating?
Absolutely.
Well, it opens up your appetite. Right?
When I'm running more, I can control my breathing during the contest. Like big guys, there are big guys who can eat a lot of food.
Glad you mentioned controlling your breathing because it's funny how that collaborates with anything that you do.
Yeah, just stay calm. Stay calm.
Keep your panic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because have you ever been in that moment where there's so many hot dogs in your mouth that you're like you have to stay? Like you feel a little bit uncomfortable. We'll call it uncomfortable.
There's uncomfortable. Like you. There's times where I can see the guy next to me is moving a little bit faster than me, and or the clock is ticking. There's all these little things that are stresses, or especially wings. Sometimes they slip out of your hands, and I got to stay calm. Don't get flustered. Go back. I know how to eat wings. Don't make it harder than it is. And it's like people are amazed. I call it a sport. I have to call it a sport because I put so much thought, so much energy. I ended up doing better when I started calling it a sport. It allowed me to justify the time and energy I was putting into it.
Well, just a work ethic to get through that. The fact that the physical stress that you give your body.
Yeah.
But I want to get into Joey's mind. What's the mindset like?
Oh, it's part. I love the competition. I love every aspect of it. Traveling to a different place, beating people. It's just
you love competing.
Oh, I love the competition. I like eating. It's great when it's really good food.
But it drives you to beat the guy next to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're gonna shove it, dude. I'm gonna beat you.
Oh yeah. There's a weird machoism, like, and which is all right. Like
it's healthy.
Nobody.
You're not there to lose.
Nobody's going in there to lose. Everybody there is a big eater. Everybody there, their whole life, they've been like the biggest eater in their family, biggest eater of all their friends, and it's my job to put them down. Like tomorrow, I'll go to the contest and I'll tell the other eaters, oh, I already tried the wings. They're a little bit different than
you start messing with their head.
Oh yeah, like I have my technique figured out, and then so they're like, oh, what's different about them?
Don't worry about it.
You'll figure it out.
It. Is there any sort of like, and the reason why I want to say joy of the mind is because you said control your breathing, so it tells me that you're aware of of how you think, right?
Yeah.
You're a very competitive and driven dude. It's why you do this.
Yeah.
I mean, you get paid a lot of money to do it, but you also you're putting yourself in a physical. I mean, the fact that you're
there are stresses and there's risks. I mean, it's hard on the body. There's after a summer of competitive eating, I'm about 30 pounds heavier than when I started the summer.
What's your why? Like why?
Why? It's a weird feeling knowing that I mean I have an engineering degree and I liked working in construction management, but I wasn't going to be the best construction manager in the world. I most or project manager in the world. It was but when I was like, as soon as I started doing the eating, I was like, oh, I can dominate this, and I realized it was my body. Yeah, it works well with my body. I love the whole preparation. I like the fasting. I like the feeling of being bloated afterwards. I like a lot.
So you're in love with the process.
Yeah, I like the whole process. It's a lot of the eaters they say, oh, it's going to be so gross afterwards, and they're scared of it. I'm like, no, I'm going to embrace every bit of it. Yeah,
that's amazing because it's funny how you I mean, I have so many people coming through this podcast, and it's so consistent with what I hear. It's always the process, it's the mindset, it's your why, it's your character, your preparation, and how people kind of like it. It seems repetitive, but it's why people are so successful at what they do. And obviously you take a great lot of pride.
It's I'm almost obsessed. And there's like when is it obsession or when is it just dedication?
I actually think that I actually think that obsession and greatness are kind of really side to side with each other. So I mean, right.
I love it.
Yeah. When you do this, right? And this is great for people because, like, I mean, I want to know, like, what is the biggest risk you're taking from a health perspective that you're conscious of, where you can, like, okay, I know this is the risk, but I know how to now maybe get that out of my body, right? Like, how do I, what's
as far as the biggest risk?
Has a doctor ever told you, hey, Joey, if you do this for too long, it's not going to be good for your, I don't know.
The digestive tract. My doctor's been really happy. I just moved this last year, so I have to find a new good doctor. But for when I was in San Jose, I was using the same doctor for like 15 years. And
he's checking you out.
Yeah, blood work 3 times a year and making sure that everything's working. And there are times he would tell me, I was like, all right. He's like, you're a little bit heavy, but there's no real problem with cholesterol. But I think the biggest problem is developing really bad habits. For me, when I gain weight, when I was younger, I could gain 30 pounds and lose it really quickly. Now I'm older, I can gain the weight just as fast, but it's a lot harder to lose it. And it's really I think with age and it's harder on the body. I remember that when I was younger, the next day I would be feeling fine after a contest, and now after a contest, the next day I'm kind of lethargic. I'm still bloated. And
it's funny. It's like when we were in college, we were playing baseball. We had practice at 5:30 in the morning. We could be out till 3 in the morning.
Oh my god!
Get an hour and a half sleep. I'm like, I'm good, dude. Today nowadays, I'm like, don't count on me for that, man. And I feel as in shape. I feel as strong, but it's just like your body's it's older, and it's you need more rest. And
you don't bounce back nearly as fast.
How long do you want to do this for?
As long as I can. I know. It's like you're talking about transitions, and we'll see what happens. I absolutely love it. We'll see.
I can see it. You exude that,
and I'm like when you were talking about yourself, the transition being scary. It would suck if I did develop some sort of medical condition that didn't allow me to do the eating at the same level.
Are you conscious of that? Do you think that obviously I would assume you have a support team. Nobody knows your body better than yourself.
Yeah.
Is there like a line in the sand where you're like, okay?
Well, if there's like, I mean, if
the doctor says, hey, Joy, you know what, we're getting to that point where you've eaten enough hot dogs.
Eaten enough hot dogs, or there's something wrong. If my body's not digesting things. If I can take a step back, I have no problem. It would hurt walking away, but I know that want to be around for a while.
Of course.
So yeah, I'll cross that bridge. Maybe I'll go back into construction. I'll go back to the day job, which is all right.
That's amazing. You know, and when you call yourself an athlete, obviously you have thousands of people that are looking at you. Is it a rush when you know that you won? Like, is it like
there's just so
is
many?
that your moment?
There's like, I'm going to a contest on the weekend, and people work all week, and they're taking time out of their day on a Saturday, and I get to make them happy on their day off. And so it's just this weird rush, and they're happy. I'm there eating. I'm happy they're being entertained. There is a rush. Being able to make people happy through eating, it's nuts.
Did you ever imagine this would be your life choice?
Not at all. No, I think, that allows me. That's why one of the reasons why I appreciate it so much. Even when I started winning contests, I was like, oh, I'm going to finish my engineering degree and work full time. Then eventually the eating just got bigger and bigger, and I was like, "Whoa, they're
esophagus got healthy, got more powerful."
Dude, my jaws are so strong. My throat's like I could swallow. Yeah, I could swallow an egg whole. It's so I can. It's just it just kept growing.
Are you working on anything that nobody knows about? Like anything, some sort of food that you can? I mean, anything, any trick?
No. There are training methods that I don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's all been trial.
No, I'm saying you're trying to eat something that nobody's ever done before. I mean, that'd be, you know.
Oh, well, I want.
Is there like? Are there? And I don't know about this. I'm sorry if I should know this. Is there like burger eating contests? Like,
there's tons of burger contests. I hold the record for crystals. 103 crystal hamburgers. The little square ones.
Yeah. With the little onions on them or something?
Yeah, those little gut bombs.
How many did you have?
103.
They're delicious. I could probably eat 20, not as fast as you
can. You can do 20? That's pretty good.
I could. Dude, what I do is when I have pizza at my house, I order myself my own pie. But I love pizza. So like I order my pizza and then my kids and their family, my wife can have theirs. But I have my own slice. I can eat a block of pizza.
Yeah.
And I love hot dogs. I actually was in Chicago a couple months ago with my son, and I went to Wrigley, and Wrigley hot dog. I just had to do it.
Chicago dog, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
hot dogs are good. Nowadays, you can put everything on them.
So what's your favorite? Like, what do you, like, if you're going to have a hot dog for comfort, just if you're at the barbecue, what do you like on it?
Just raw onions and mustard.
Raw onions, okay.
Oh yeah, that way those two items aren't really any calories, and then I can just have more hot dogs. I have to be aware of the calorie intake, I guess. Just raw onions and mustard. It's good flavors and a grilled hot dog.
That's awesome. So, as we start to wrap this up, tomorrow's wing contest.
Yeah,
big deal. All right, big deal. How many wings should the city of Miami, if we were all take a bet, and we got to get this on social media somehow, how many wings can Joey Chestnut pull off tomorrow? Pounds. I'm sorry.
Pounds.
How many pounds can Joey Chestnut pull off tomorrow?
I think 7.5 pounds is right about the record for a 10-minute contest.
That's insane.
And it could fall. I haven't seen the wings yet, but if they're big wings, if they're meaty,
yeah.
if the meat's flying off, if they're cooked and the meat's coming off quick, we could see a new record. It's the first contest of the year, the first real contest, and people are hungry. Where the eaters were going to push each other hard.
That is crazy. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow, Joey Chestnut, Wings for Wishes in South Miami. You guys got to be there. I'm saying he can pull off 8 pounds.
Oh, 8 pounds would be great. Oh my God.
I'm betting
I'd be nice and bloated.
We'll
drink some beer afterwards.
We'll put a post up. But hey, I appreciate you having the podcast. It's a crazy, unique experience. Brian, thank you so much. It's funny. The one thing I will say is, you're an athlete, and you think, at least you for sure think like one, which in my opinion makes you one.
Oh, thank you.
Because of the preparation, the character, just the mindset that you have to, and the fact that you have to train for this so consistently. I don't think you can take a couple months off from this. I mean, if you do,
in
between, I'm sure you're getting every once in a while. You're sitting at home and like, let me boil up a pan of hot dogs and see how fast I can swallow in 2 minutes, right?
Like
Just to stay in shape.
Once a week, I'm doing some sort of big eating stretch. I need to make sure that those muscles, the stomach, the intestines, everything, it knows what it feels like to digest that massive amount of food, and it's comfortable with it.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. We're definitely going to give you guys out a shout out. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, man.
Oh, thank you
Good
so
luck.
much.
8 pounds.
Oh, it's going down.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.